Hey there everybody, this is Robin with Creative2xmom, and in today's video I'm just going to be chatting with you guys sort of casually about how I am researching the possibility of homeschooling through high school. If you're new to my channel, this is a little bit of the backstory. I have a son that's going to be a junior in high school this fall, a daughter that's going into 8th grade, and then my little guy is going into 5th grade. So you're probably wondering, if I have a kiddo in high school, why am I just now planning high school? And that's because we homeschooled him from 2nd grade through 8th grade, and then it was a good transition time. He was ready, I was ready. It was just a better fit for our family for him to go back into public school. And now I'm coming up on my second child, hitting that transition stage. She's going into 8th grade this year, and I am actually seriously considering keeping her home through high school. I know, I feel a little bit crazy even saying that. So right now I am looking at what that would mean for both her, what that would mean for myself, and just getting some of that preliminary research in. So I want to share with you 6 things that I am doing to prepare for potentially homeschooling through high school. Wow, that's really weird to say. So the first thing I did is I went to our local high school's website, and they have a couple of things laid out there for me. The first thing is the state requirements for graduation, and then they also have a chart of our state system, our state college requirements for admittance. And this helped me out tremendously. If you just want a quick answer, go to your local high school and they should have that all laid out on their webpage. You might even be able to go in and get a copy of the student handbook, because that will be in there as well. Now for some states, it's a 1-year course is a 1 requirement. In our state, it's a 10 credits. I don't know how that really works. So I am looking at graduating in 10 credit increments. But that really helped me look at how many classes she needs to take each year, what sort of classes would she need to take each year, could I outsource those, what sort of classes would I need to personally teach, what do electives look like. I looked at their course description of some of their electives just to get my mind going on what some ideas were that she might want to channel into those electives. So what I found was our state requires 4 years of English, 4 years of a social science, 2 years of a science, including 1 year of a lab, but looking at the state colleges, they want possibly 3, so what would that look like? And then the other requirement that I really looked at was math, 3 years of math. And those would really be what we would focus on, particularly the social sciences and the English, because there is 4 years of both of those, so you need to be hit every year in high school. There is also a language requirement, 2 consecutive years of the same language, 3 recommended, which there's so many elective opportunities within the high school years that 3 could easily be fit in. 2 years of PE, a visual and performing arts, all pretty doable once I started looking at what the requirements were. As I was doing that, I was also started thinking, who has traveled this path before me that I could ask? What fellow homeschool moms do I know who have or are currently homeschooling high schoolers, so I could ask them about curriculum and course description and just laying out their process of their journey, because high school is a very different, it's a different system than homeschooling year by year. You're more so looking at the 4-year journey or the 4-year plan. So I started gathering friends that I could talk to, and I could start to just ask them what kind of curriculum they have used. So really looking at those graduation requirements of how do we move from a 9th grader to graduation day. And talking to other homeschool moms, I started to hear some curriculum ideas that I hadn't thought of before or that I didn't know were out there. And so in preparation in 8th grade year, we are going to be transitioning some of her curriculum already to different curriculum providers. One of the things that we're doing that with is potentially moving from Abeka Science to Apologia. So we are going to try that in 8th grade. We have used Abeka for probably 3 or 4 years, but I've heard really good things about Apologia in the high school years, so we're going to try it out in 8th grade, and that's something that I would recommend even at the point in the journey that I'm in right now. If you see something in high school that you think you might potentially use, try it out in a low pressure year, like 7th or 8th grade. So that's what we're going to be doing with the science. I would actually really like to do that with a language arts curriculum, but I don't know where we're going to move from rod and staff. So if you have any suggestions for high school language arts that you loved, leave me a comment down below, because I feel like that's the one that I'm struggling with the most. The next thing I went out and researched was templates for transcripts, templates for course description, because high school requires a little bit more paperwork. You need to be looking at how you're going to describe your classes, what texts are going to be used, and keeping track of all that. I've heard a lot of homeschool moms say don't wait to the end of your journey, especially if you're going to have more than one in high school at a time, because then you will just forget. You think you're going to remember, you think you're going to remember all the labs that you did for biology. There's no way. I can't remember to go pick up milk at the store some days. So I'm looking for templates so that I can be planning those things as we go along, as we're getting ready for the next year. And then if I need to go back and change anything or polish it up and make it look a little bit nicer, but then I have all my notes, I can say, yes, we did all these labs, or yes, this is the text that we started with, I crossed it out, we got a different text that worked better for us. Then I have all of that there so I don't forget. Now the next thing on my list I need to do more research on, but that is how to prepare for the SAT, the ACT. I remember taking those, I think my junior year in high school, and we just took it at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of prep, but things have become so much more challenging and so much more competitive that I need to start looking into some SAT prep coursework. The next thing I would look at would be the dual enrollment opportunities that your kids have. Now, to me, this is one of the biggest advantages of homeschooling through high school, is having that source of your community college, if you have one in your area, so that your kids can go out and learn from a different teaching style, have that classroom experience a little bit, and still be able to get dual enrollment credits. And I think this depends upon the kid. I don't think at 9th grade my daughter would quite be ready for this, but that is something that I want to look at. What are the opportunities that she has there, so that come 11th and 12th grade we can start to customize her schedule around what is really available to her. And then the last thing I'm doing is just having lots of ongoing conversation with my daughter, talking about the pros of homeschooling, but also the cons of homeschooling. Like, if we start down this journey, this is the path we're taking. What are some of her goals? What are some of her career objectives? What are the things that she wants to learn? How can I support her in this? What does she want to get out of her high school experience? Is she just really focused on the academics? Is she looking for more social interaction to balance out the academics? Always having that ongoing conversation with your kids, I think, is so important. And so that's something that I'm really striving to do with my daughter, pull her out and have just this conversation of what is the best route for her to take over the next several years. So all that to say, that's where I am at as far as preparing for potentially homeschooling high school. I found that being here on YouTube, there are very few homeschooling high school parents that are sharing their journey, and it's because it is sort of daunting and it is so personal. So I just thought I would share with you guys where I'm at, where we're at as a family, and that we're still really working through what is the best option for her, what is the best option for us as a family. But this is sort of what we're looking at, and this is some of the things that I'm doing to prepare for potentially finding myself there in the next year and some of the things that I'm looking at to help me make a decision if it's the best route for us. Leave me a comment down below. Have you ever homeschooled in high school, or do you plan on homeschooling in high school? And I would love to know what are your best resources for this planning stage. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye guys.